My wife thought I was the villain, but the truth was much worse. I didn't know how to begin writing this. Even now, as my fingers skim across the keys, I hesitate. There are moments in life that one revisits again and again, trying to find the precise instant where everything started to fall apart, as if pinpointing the fracture could somehow repair it. But I know better. This is not a story with clean edges or clear villains or tidy explanations. It is simply my story. The raw, uncomfortable truth of the last 6 months of my life. I'm 38 years old, married for 12 years to Elle, a woman I once believed I understood down to her silences. We have a 10-year-old daughter, Clara, bright, sensitive, observant enough to notice things adults pretend are invisible. For years our life was simple in the ordinary way. The kind of routine that becomes so familiar it numbs you. Shared breakfasts, hurried school mornings, bills, work stress, weekend movie nights, birthday parties, grocery shopping, cheap summer trips to the coast. Life. Mundane. Stable. Predictable. And then, about 7 months ago, cracks began to appear. First hairline, then unmistakable. It began with Elle. She had always been quiet, introverted, someone who preferred to shrink rather than expand. But suddenly she started wearing more makeup, standing longer in front of the mirror, buying clothes that didn't quite look like her, colorful blouses, fitted jeans, perfume she'd never worn before. At first, I tried to convince myself it was harmless, a harmless attempt at self-care, maybe, something she was doing to feel better about herself. But then came the late nights at work, the phone that never left her hand, the messages she cleared too quickly, the private smiles she didn't think I noticed. She took her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. That was new. Old Elle left her phone on the kitchen counter for days, sometimes forgetting where it was. I remember the first time she said she was going to the gym. I lifted my eyes from the newspaper and stared at her like she had announced she was joining the circus. Elle hated gyms. She used to joke that running was a sign of being chaste, not a hobby. But she said it in such a matter-of-fact tone, with such calm conviction, that I didn't question it. She went twice a week from then on, and each time she came home flushed, a strange glow on her cheeks, part sweat, part something else. Something I couldn't name. I ignored every sign. Or perhaps I didn't ignore them. I just feared what they suggested. Then came the night that cleaved my life in two. Clara had a fever, the kind that terrifies you because it spikes too fast. Her skin burned under my palm, her eyes glassy. I drove her to the emergency room with the kind of panic that makes every red light feel like cruelty. Elle should have left work hours earlier. I called her once, twice, 10 times, texted. Nothing. Her phone was off. Completely off. The hours in the ER passed slowly. The harsh lights, the antiseptic smell, Clara's small hand gripping mine. The doctor said it was a viral infection, nothing alarming, but my nerves were stretched thin. When we were finally discharged close to 2 a.m., I felt exhausted in a way that made my bones ache. We walked into the house, and just as I closed the front door, Elle came in. She was freshly showered. Her hair was dripping wet, and she smelled, God, that smell, a floral, heavy perfume she had never used before. She froze when she saw us. Her eyes darted from Clara to me, and I swear her face drained of color. I didn't ask where she had been. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. All I said was, Clara was sick, and something inside her broke, though she hid it quickly. She whispered, oh. I didn't hear the phone. A lie so fragile it almost collapsed under its own weight. But neither of us addressed the truth that hung in the air like smoke. When she went to shower, again, I stared at the ceiling, replaying every strange moment of the past months. Something finally snapped inside me. It wasn't rage. It was instinct. Survival. A desire to stop pretending. Her laptop was open on the desk, screen glowing softly in the dim room. Her Gmail account was open. I told myself not to look. I told myself it was wrong. But the truth was already clawing at my throat. One email caught my eye. From A. Subject, so tomorrow, yes? I can't stop thinking about you. A single click opened a world I never wanted to see. There were threads of messages, plans, late-night confessions, emotional exchanges, references to meetings that didn't sound like therapy sessions. I read them all with a growing numbness, as though my soul was stepping away from my body for protection. My wife, my partner, my friend, the mother of my daughter, was having an affair. And worse, she wasn't even hiding it well. When I confronted her the next morning, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't throw anything. I simply sat on the couch and showed her the screen. She looked at the laptop, then at me, and then back at the laptop. Her hands flew to her mouth. Her knees buckled. She sat down slowly, trembling. She didn't deny it. She didn't make excuses. She cried, deep, guttural sobs. She said she didn't want to hurt me. She said she felt trapped, that things got out of hand, that A made her feel alive, that she had lost herself. Then she said the sentence that carved itself into my skull forever. I didn't cheat on you because I didn't love you. I cheated because I stopped loving myself. It hurt more than any confession of passion for another man. And for days after that, I wandered through life like a ghost, unsure whether I wanted to divorce her or simply disappear. I slept on the couch. We avoided each other like strangers cohabiting a battlefield. Clara watched us with wide, unsettled eyes. Then one evening, her brother Tomas showed up unannounced. He knocked on the door with an urgency that made my stomach clench. When we sat alone in the dining room, he rubbed his face with both hands and exhaled shakily. It's not what you think, he said. He isn't a lover. He's her psychologist. The room seemed to warp. My mind stalled. I said, what? He nodded slowly, painfully. She's been seeing him for months. And he crossed boundaries. Serious ones. Pieces suddenly fell into place. The secrecy, the emotional intensity, the sudden changes, her new insecurity. The late-night, supportive messages. The extra sessions. The vulnerability. He had exploited her. That realization came with a mix of rage and hollow understanding. Not forgiveness, never that. But a clearer, uglier picture. We reported him. We fought the clinic's indifference. We pushed. Eventually, after reviewing the messages, the board suspended him. Later, they kicked him out entirely. But none of that healed us. Elle crumbled in a way I had never seen. She fell into a deeper depression, one that terrified me. She barely ate. She barely moved. At night, I'd find her sitting on the kitchen floor, staring at nothing. Some nights, she shook uncontrollably. Some nights she sobbed until dawn. Clara tried to comfort her, and that shattered me more than anything. At one point, Elle whispered she wished she could disappear. That was when I realized leaving her would destroy Clara. And so I stayed. Not out of love, not out of hope, but because sometimes staying is the only way to prevent a total collapse. Months passed. Slowly, achingly slowly, we started therapy. Real therapy. With real professionals. Elle now meets with an older woman who doesn't sugarcoat anything. And as she rebuilds herself one fragile brick at a time, I try to rebuild the part of me that was shattered. Our marriage is a strange thing now. A structure made of memories and attempts and unresolved pain. Some days I look at her and feel tenderness. Others I feel a sharp, suffocating resentment. And the truth is, I don't know if I'll ever love her the same again. What haunts me most is not the act of betrayal, nor even the lies. It's the knowledge that she was drowning next to me, and I never saw it. That she was breaking silently, while I lived comfortably inside the illusion of a happy home. Some days I blame myself for not noticing. Other days I remind myself that she made choices, terrible ones, regardless of her vulnerability. Grief comes in waves. Sometimes it feels like mourning a person who is still alive. Other times like mourning the version of myself who trusted blindly. I don't know what the future holds. Some days I imagine us rebuilding something new. Other days I picture a quiet separation once Clara is older. But for now we stay. We try. We stumble forward through the ruins, picking up whatever pieces we can. It's not beautiful. It's not romantic. But it is real. And sometimes real is all that remains.